The Goldie Gossip Podcast. Step to the throne. Step to the throne.
Welcome. Happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you're having a good 4th of July. I didn't do too much because I wanted to prepare for this podcast. I hadn't done one in a while, but I had to do this one. This is going to be sweet. So welcome to the 44th edition of the Goldie Gossip Podcast. I'm your host, Goldie Himllayya. And let's get started with the show. Okay, guys. I want to open up the show with Goldie Gossip shout-outs. I got lots of friends on Facebook. I haven't shouted out everybody in a while, so I like to do that right now. I want to shout out to my boy on Facebook, Kurt Levert. Kurt Levert is a Detroit artist. He jams all around the city. He's doing lots of big things for Detroit. So shout out Kurt Levert. I'd like to give a shout out to Twan Green II. Anybody on Facebook's got to know Twan. He's multi-talented. Everything he does is pretty much live. That's my boy. I like Twan Green III. Hold on. And third of all, Kim King out of Detroit. Kim King is one of my best fans. She has poked me over 400 times, and you don't know how much Goldie Himllayya appreciates that. Thank you so much, Kim King. I'd like to give a shout out to Florence Gibbs in Detroit. I'd like to give a shout out to my dog, Marshall E. Allen. You guys might have seen him on my last podcast. He came here with me in Detroit. We went up to Big Bear, had a good time. You guys might have seen that. So shout out to Marshall E. Allen. I have a cousin in Detroit by the name of Terry Oden. Her and her son. I would like to give a big shout out to Terry. How you doing, Willa Mae? I love you, and we'll talk soon. My sister, Elijah Williamson. She's on Facebook. She's down in Atlanta right now. I'd like to give a big shout out to Elijah Williamson. And I also have a sister by the name of Tasha Scott. Big ups to Tasha. I love you. Lloyd Collier. I have a big friend on Facebook called Lloyd Collier. Big shout out to Lloyd Collier. Kim Scott. That's my cousins, my son's, my nephew's wife. They're in Detroit. Kim and Verness Scott. Big shout out to you guys. I have a nephew, Verness's son. His name is Julian Rashawn Bell. Big shout out to Rashawn. I have an auntie, Fran Scott. She's too old to be on Facebook, but she's 95 years old. So I want to give a big shout out to my auntie Fran Scott in Detroit. I have a grandson, Corbin McDermott. Corbin is my grandson. He's the son of my daughter, April McDermott. I'd like to give a big shout out to the whole McDermott family. Shout out to Gabe, shout out to April, and shout out to Corbin, who's been following me a lot. Thank you, Corbin. I love you, son. And we'll hit up soon. PB Hassan. He's an Inland Empire artist. Been going for a long time. That's my dog. You need to follow PB Hassan. He's always doing great things. Papa Smurf, a.k.a. Aaron Day. Yep, I'd like to give a big shout out to Papa Smurf. All right, guys. Those are my shout outs. I like to switch this over to let you guys know that I am an author. I finished my first book, Shoot for the Moon, but it's an audio book, and I published it myself. I have a new book. Me and Nancy just finished the book. It's right here. This is it right here. This is the first draft. We're currently looking for a publisher. I'm pretty sure I won't have problems finding a publisher. The name of the book is The Luckiest Catapillars. Me and Nancy bought a caterpillar growing kit online, and we did the whole process. And it was so cool, me and Nancy decided to write a short children's book on the matter. And it really, really turned out good. I don't know when it's going to be published, but as a special treat tonight, I am going to read the children's book tonight. All you adults, if you have children, go get your kids, bring them here. I'm going to play some music to give you time to get the kids here. This is a kid-friendly podcast, and I'm going to read the book, The Luckiest Catapillars. So go get the kids, and I'm going to give you a moment. Hold on. Here we go. It's taking a moment, guys. Hold up. All right, guys. Here we go. All right. Kids, gather around, and we're going to get started with the show. We're here by the fire, and we're going to start the book. The title of this book is The Luckiest Catapillars by Goldie Himllayya and Nancy Aniu. I'm going to skip the acknowledgement and go right into the story. Once upon a time, there was a farm in a state far, far away. And on this farm, they raised caterpillars. These caterpillars were grown for the purpose of selling them to people everywhere, along with the instructions and supplies to grow them into butterflies. So me and Nancy went online to insectlore.com. On this website, they provided all of the supplies needed to complete the project. 4 lucky caterpillars were packed into a small jar, complete with food and everything needed for their journey. The 4 lucky caterpillars had no idea the trip they were about to take. Meanwhile, Nancy and I ordered a package and were excited about our new project. Meanwhile, the lucky caterpillars were loaded on a bus, taken to the post office, where they were placed on an airplane en route to their final destination. At our home, we were waiting to receive our package, and one fine day, the Amazon truck pulled up in our driveway to deliver the precious package. And we were so excited to get it. Finally, our precious package arrived. We were so happy to finally open the box. We called over our niece Samantha and our nephew Jesse. We opened the box and the caterpillars did not move. We thought maybe they may have not survived the journey. We read the instructions which said that this was normal. It was further said to simply put them in a cool, dry place out of direct sunlight. So the project began, and we just had to wait. So as the days went by, we watched and waited. Every day, we took pictures of the metamorphosis, day by day. The first day, they only ate and ate. After a couple of days, they began to crawl up the sides of the jar. They no longer ate the food provided, and slowly, one by one, they crawled to the top of the jar and hung themselves upside down. 1 caterpillar, 2 caterpillars, 3 caterpillars, and then 4. All the lucky caterpillars had made it to the second stage, and they stopped moving. The caterpillars turned hard on the outside, and they had no movement. This was called the chrysalis stage of growth. The 3 stages of growth are caterpillar, chrysalis, and butterfly. After the 5th day, I exposed them to the sunlight and they began to wiggle side to side. It was so funny. And Nancy and I took pictures and video of the event. We were so excited to watch the lucky caterpillars grow. And so on the 7th day, one butterfly began to emerge from its chrysalis. It was weak and its wings were not dry. I provided an orange slice inside the habitat for nourishment. After a while, he started to feed off of the orange. 1 butterfly, 2 butterflies, 3 butterflies, then 4. All the lucky butterflies had made the incredible journey and was being born again. Finally, the day had come when all the 4 lucky caterpillars had grown from babies to adults, and it was time to set them free. We made a big celebration on that day. On a bright, sunny day, we called over Samantha and Jesse to participate in the event. We took the enclosure outside to the flower garden. 1 butterfly, 2 butterflies, 3 butterflies, then 4. One by one, we took turns releasing our butterflies into the flower garden. They came back a couple of times to visit, and they lived their lives in the California sun, and that's what makes them the luckiest butterflies. And they lived happily ever after. The end. We're going to close this video out with a music video honored to Nancy for all that she does. Kick it, guys. Nancy, I do it all for you, Nancy, Nancy, I do it all for you, you ain't more than a lover, you my friend, you my drug, you my habit, you my sin, so every time I get a chance, I'ma get it in, I'ma make the money count stacks, pay the dividends, spend it all on you, then start again, put up my old hair suit and my cardigan, eat a bowl full of beans, then fart again, and if I do it again, let me get hard again, right? Then I take a break and I start again, right? Then I talk to her, take off in flight, in a couple of weeks I'll be back at night, and you like that, right? It's strange that I'm strong in these streets, making a living here in the trap with my peeps, though that my speech may not be discreet, but I ain't stressing cause I'm strong in these streets, and this is all for you, babe. Nancy, I do it all for you, Nancy, Nancy, I do it all for you, you ain't way more than a lover, you my friend. You my drug, you my habit, you my sin. So every time I get a chance, I'ma get it in. I'ma make the money count stacks, pay the dividends. Spend it all on you, then start again. But I'm a more here, shooting my cardigan. Eat a bowl full of beans, then fall again. And in my dream, it get limp, it get hard again, right? Then I take a break and I start again, right? Then I book a tour, take off in flight. In a couple weeks, I'll be back at night. I know y'all like that, right? It's strange, but I'm strong in these streets. I guess I'm living here in the trap with my peeps. Telling my speech may not be the streets, but I ain't stressing cause I'm strong in these streets. And it's all for you, babe. Nancy, I do it all for you. All for you, Nancy. Nancy, I do it all for you. All for you, Nancy. Nancy, I do it all for you. All for you, Nancy. Nancy, I do it all for you. All for you, Nancy. You're way more than a lover, you my friend. You my drug, you my habit, you my sin. Every time I get a chance, I'ma get it in. I'ma make the money count stacks, pay the dividends. Spend it all on you, then start again. I'm more here, shooting my cardigan. Eat a bowl full of music, then fall again. And every time I get a little, it gets hard again, right? Then I take a break and I start again, right? Then I